Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. I'm here for day 11, December 11th of Dephemerember. And our prompts today are least favorite ephemera and Bookbinder'S art. So this prompt has taken a bit of a lot of prep time. So I'm kind of putting this into something I'm already working on. But I did create this for this prompt. So, okay, half of it, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I already have here versus starting from scratch. So I am starting this beautiful, magical, wintry journal, and it's going to be a design team project for the Junk Journal Studio, but I'm just getting a start on it today. So there's no elements from Junk Journal Studio in here yet. They will be coming. So what I've done is I've created 5 signatures here, and this is what I'm referring to as my least favorite ephemera piece. So if we count a cover as an ephemera piece, my requirements on book covers have been very stringent, and I'm trying to get out of that creative control rut. So typically I require either a fabric cover with a nice wraparound, or a vintage hardcover book. I don't often work with things like folders or envelopes or paper, scrapbook paper as my cover, because it just, for me, I feel like it's just it doesn't feel as permanent as I need it to. However, I came across these folders. These are the most industrial folders that I have ever seen. So they were all this kind of light green color, and they have these amazing metal punched tabs that go through them with 3 heavy duty eyelet punches. Okay, so they're very, very heavy. They're something I would use as a book spine. So what I decided to do is to go ahead and we're going to use these as a book cover. Now I want to make this an accordion journal, so I've made 5 of them, and I'm going to kind of crisscross the way that I do them. So let me show you that. But the other aspect that I needed for this was a front cover that felt really good and, thick like a cover. So on top of not just using these journals, these folders for the journals, this is from a book page, from this beautiful French snow fairy kind of book, or snow queen book rather. And what I did with it is I backed it with some nice heavy packaging, and then I basically embossed the whole thing. Now I used holographic embossing, and then I put a little bit of this snow embossing around the edges that has white and silver in it. That's a little more matte. You can see it there. And the cool thing with holographic embossing is sometimes it can kind of hide what's going on underneath, but if you hit it really good with heat in a certain place, you just keep the heat there, you let that plastic keep melting, that central point that you're heating up a little more, it does 2 things. One, it makes it more transparent, it gets rid of the color, and it also makes this really beautiful oil slick ring, it pushes the color outward or something, you can really see this halo around her face, right? So what I am doing with this, so this was on the bottom of these folders. So imagine this in the center down here. It went all the way across, and I cut them in half. Now I oxide sprayed all of these to make them interesting. And the theme I'm using in here is going to be kind of a magical, wintry feeling theme. The paper is mostly cabbage dyed and beautiful book pages. There's lots of nature and that kind of thing, and yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with this book. There's little tuck pockets. So then the other thing is, okay, so this is a signature. I've bound it. I was going to Coptic stitch these, but then I didn't, because I want to make it a side winding accordion kind of journal, and I'm going to do that in an interesting kind of way. So this one you see is bound this way. This one, I'm just lining them up like this, and then another one in the kind of normal open your book way, and then another one opposite, and another one normal. Okay, so the thing about this journal is I'm going to be doing a lot more decorating with it. So right now, also ignore my blue hands. I was doing lots of dyeing today. The other thing with it is it doesn't have any ephemera in it yet at all. But we want to focus on the bookbinder art aspect of this. So first I need to get started by finding out the method I want to use to bind these. And I think it's going to be pretty simplistic, I hope. Okay. So I've got my 3 holes, 1, 2, 3 right there. And I'm going to line these up together. Okay. And I'm going to make a dot. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to take my my little hole punch on my hole punch here, and we're going to come through and just do hole punch 1, 2, and 3. Hard to see that hole. There it is. Okay. Yeah, and that's in the pocket, but it's not going to bother it in terms of allowing it to still be a tuck spot. So I'm going to put eyelets in these little brassy eyelets. One. 2, 3. Okay, so those 2 are good. Now let's do the same with the next bunch here. So this, okay, let me think. So this will bind to that. This will bind to this. So we got to do the same thing on this edge now with these holes, okay? This has to bind to here. So let's do that. Line these up neatly here. And put that back over here so we don't get confused. Just gotta get the paper out of there so I can see my hole. All right, pokey tool. There we go. So I had a lot of ideas for Bookbinder'S art, but I settled on this one because I thought it would be a lot of fun. This might be a longer video though, because there's a few steps here. That's why I didn't do like the whole entire journal prep, because yeah, this would have taken like all day for me to do it all at once. But if you're interested in this journal and in the kind of journals that I make, then, stick around, and not just for Dephemerember. Subscribe and hang out here. I'm always doing something fun. And I have lots of plans and experiments planned for the future. So, okay. So now we've got this, then that. Okay, and then that. Think, Cindy, what are we doing here? Hold on, let's go back. Okay, this goes here and this goes here, I think. So that will bind to that. Yes, and then that's your accordion still. Then on this side, that will bind to this. from this binding. Yes. Okay, and that will become a page. Yup. Okay. Then here, this needs holes now. So same technique. One, two, and three. Put that here. Okay. This is maybe like the most complicated project I've done so far for this challenge, I think. This is the type of stuff I like to do like off camera because it's wildly easy to muck it all up. But you got to take chances in life, right? Okay, so then that will bind to that. Then this will bind to this, which means that needs holes here as well. So now we'll flip this over, line that up again, a little closer to the edge here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 more eyelets and then we should be done with this part. So I am recording a couple days in advance, so I'm actually recording this on a Sunday. And I just got back from a hockey game. I'm not a big hockey fan, but these were hockey tickets for the OHL game that my kids' school principal has a son who plays for a US team, and they're playing one of our local teams. And so it was kind of like a fun game to watch because, you know, there were no losers, kind of. Like it was fun to see either, you know, her team, her kids' team win, or, you know, our home team win. And it was an amazing game. The kids played incredibly. It was like 4-4, and they had to go into an overtime, like sudden death style overtime. And like the last kind of minute, the US team where her son plays scored on our local team, and it was like a very fluky kind of thing. I'd say the only thing that was kind of like, I think for me a little sad, disappointing, was they had a lot of penalties for like high sticking, and like, holy cow, are those kids rough. I'm not like a big hockey fan. I know that roughness and all that is a big issue in hockey, and that's kind of part of why I'm not a big hockey person. I also find hockey culture kind of annoys me. Like I find people are too aggressive. It's just not my vibe, but yeah, that being said, I did have a really good time. Okay, so now we need to get the materials that I'm going to use to do this binding and start the fun. So here are some other materials. These are wedding dress appliques that I got from a vintage wedding dress that I cut all up, and they are so beautiful. So they're going to go beautifully here. But first we need string. I'll be back. Alright, so I've grabbed some ivory colored embroidery floss, and that is what I plan to do this binding with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. let's just start with 6 lengths of this. I'm okay with that. We could do this in Coptic stitch style with a knot on the end maybe, and we'll start at the top of the inside and just start kind of threading these together. This is going to be very free form. It's not like your typical, you know, traditional binding. I'm inventing this as I go. Now, if you've ever seen anyone do this before, that is by some strange irony, because I don't have a plan. Okay, so let's start on the inside here at the top. Okay, and we'll pull this all the way through like that. So we're going to have that inside. Okay, then I'm going to go around the cover through the eyelet hole just kind of pull it sort of kind of tight, and as though we would be doing a Coptic stitch, I'm going to go beneath it here. Because I like the style that I get from Coptic stitching. Okay, so then maybe we'll go we have options. We can like make this visible and go down here. I think I will go back through the hole. And then just take a look at what happens here. Okay, that's nice. That's neat. Okay, and then we'll head back through this hole now. It's almost like I'm just kind of rebinding this in a way, but I'm okay with that. Sometimes it's fun to just kind of do things like this where you give yourself some time to just experiment and play and take your time. Okay, and then we'll come through here around the back. Pull that kind of tight, but not super tight. And I might get my curved needle that I use when I'm doing Coptic stitch. I use a curved needle. It's a lot easier. And we went underneath the thread, and then we'll go right on back through to the middle here. Okay. Okay, and then come down here. And then under and around. Sorry if I'm getting kind of out of frame here. Hydration break. Okay. Now I guess I'm limited, you know, like with Coptic stitching, I'd keep going. But I think I'm limited because, you know, I'm going to have this be an accordion. So I think we're going to have to break our string, which is fine. We come back through here. Oops. Don't you go get entangled now. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Why do these things happen? Sometimes you can kind of pull it and it will pop, but I don't think this is one of those times. Let me see if I can quickly get this out. If not, I'll pause for a moment because we need this to get untangled. It can't stay this way. I mean, it can, and then it'll become part of our, oh, there we go, part of our freeform design here. Okay, so now that I'm back through here, I'm going to come up through this, through both bindings, the black original binding and the white. I'm going to pull this tight. One, two. That's good. I'm going to snip that, just as I did here. Now let's take a look at the quality of this binding. This is where it's going to matter. That's what I want. Flexible, not going to be difficult to open, you know, but well bound. So I want to do a bunch of things with this binding. So I don't want to like make you watch this whole process because it'll be tedious for you. But what I'm going to do is just go over here. Now, this opens here, right? So this is my next spot where I need to bind, I think. Oh no, I chose this way. Okay, so this goes like this goes like that. Oh yeah, it's an accordion. I guess you can guide yourself by your next set of eyelets, right? That's where you're going to be binding from. So my next set of eyelets are on the back of this here, which means I'm binding to here. So I'm just going to tip this and kind of keep it like so. Get to the middle. Let me tie another knot in the bottom here. Maybe I should share a little of this with you, because you might be like, what in the heck is she talking about? But like, I want to decorate this too. That's hence the art, the artsy Bookbinder's art. But you know, there's art to this method, to be honest, because I'm just kind of making it up as I go along. Okay. Just keep checking to make sure you're always right side up too with your book. Like, okay, I didn't flip this the wrong way. I'm all good. Okay. So then this, I think I said would bind to here. And again, are we right side up? We are. Okay. So I'm going to go in the bottom. Doesn't really matter if you go bottom or top, to be honest. Just poke on through the bottom here. Then we're trapped. Line these up. Gonna go around it from the back. Okay. Hold those nice together, like taut as you want them. Then you're going to go under, like the opposite side of where you see your thread coming from. Okay. And you're going to go back, oh no, back inside the same hole that you came from. And just make sure you get back through the middle, because it's going to want to go like through, you know, some spot it's not supposed to, because that's just what these things do. They be evil. Okay. Let's pull this back through. Sorry if you can hear my family. My husband is trying to shout upstairs to my daughter to bring a towel downstairs for the dog, because he was outside and his paws got wet. So there's no fighting going on. We're just screeching for a towel. And my daughter's upstairs in her room, which is next to our main bath, and the towel closet. Okay, now we'll go back through the back here. So this overlaps. Good. And then underneath, and again, I mentioned a curved needle would be good for this. Okay. And then on back through the middle hole. Okay. and then through the top hole, and through the eyelet. I'm pretty sure my daughter is not hearing my husband for his towel request. Okay, there we go. Underneath again and back through. Okay. Voila. All right. Now we've got this bound back in here. Very much I would not have needed to bind these all separately, because this is quite like a Coptic bound book, to be honest. However, I was nervous because I haven't done this accordion style before, and also with Coptic stitching, you're typically Coptic stitching like a singular one piece of like a cover to your first signature. But because I was coming with a signature like inside my my first piece that I'm stitching is actually a whole signature, it didn't compute in my brain how I could make that work. So I just thought I'd go a little bit safe and have bound these like prior to doing this, because I didn't want to lose my pages. I spent a good amount of time making all of these signatures today. It's going to be quite a fun book. Okay, so let's go back to the front. And we're going to check this. This looks good. Okay. Then we'll have that and that and that will be decorated. This and this will be decorated. But then over here, we have pages. They're right side up. Good, good, good. Flip again. We're right side up still. Right? Yes, we are. Okay. So we've got 3 of them together in our accordion. Next are the last 2. Now, why don't I just go ahead? You've seen this Coptic stitch method that I'm using. I'll just go ahead and do these, and then I'll come back and we'll move on to the next step, because otherwise I think I'm going to add probably a good half hour to this process when I don't need to, and I want to share some of the art, the decoration with you, like the bookbinding art. Okay, I'll do that now. Okay, so 20 minutes later, I have managed to get this all stitched. So we now have all these Swarovski crystals here and a little bulk of fun bits of like this ivory embroidery floss. And I've done it on both of the parts where I have those appliques, and I'm really happy with how that looks. Obviously, I could also do it here too if I wanted to, but I've decided I'm not going to. I really like how this looks like. So interesting that this binding comes together and you can see a bit of that netting there, and I wouldn't want to hide it. But yeah, I think this is going to be a very fun journal. Clearly I have loads of work still to do on it, but I wanted to share my little bit of bookbinding art for you. And just generally speaking, this overall situation, you know, with this book, the way that it's bound is a lot of fun. So thank you for joining me. I will see you tomorrow for more Dephemerember. Bye for now.